Hello, everyone. This is Ariel Renal, and I am happy to have Robert Markovetz on the phone today. How are you today, Robert?
I'm great. Thank you very much.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I am a retired 28-year veteran of combination of Army and Army National Guard service. Retired as a lieutenant colonel, married, have four kids, work as a contractor for the Army currently, and I'm a member of the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Been involved with NAMI for quite a few years. First got started with them back in 1995 as a paid temporary worker in South Dakota, working for the state NAMI there. Did that for about a year and a half, and then took a break from NAMI because I went back on active full-time service. And it wasn't until quite a few years later, about 2008, when I reconnected with NAMI. One of my children started having some mental illness challenges. We didn't really know where to turn, and it's surprising. I'd worked for NAMI all those years ago, and then happened to come across a local NAMI affiliate, and they had a program called Family to Family. Family to Family it's a 12-week program for family members or the significant others of caregivers of people living with mental illness. It's for them, not for the person with the mental illness, but the person that's providing them the support. And it's an educational program that's provided free of charge by NAMI to those people, and it was a lifesaver. We just did not know what to do or where to go. Our child was having so many challenges, actually hospitalized him a couple times, didn't know exactly what to do or where to go, and all these symptoms he was having and all these different things. We got all kinds of conflicting diagnoses and just not very good counseling for him. And with HIP and everything, they couldn't tell us. The providers really couldn't tell us anything about what was going on with our child, and we just really needed to know what to do. And the Family to Family program really provided us with the education that we needed about mental illness. It talked to us about different treatments, all the different types of mental illness, what kind of medications there were out there, what the side effects of each kind of medication there were, communication skills, problem-solving skills, a lot of things that we really needed. The communication skills were really helpful because our child would almost be catatonic when he had one of his episodes. And having gone to the family-to-family class and finding out how to interact with our child while they were having the episode really benefited us so much. And I'll never forget the people that I went through the class with. They were so supportive. They were, other families that were going through crisis with family members themselves. And we were able to just support each other and provide each other, just someone to talk to, someone to share similar experiences and, kind of let other people know what worked for us. So one thing about mental illness, what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for the next. And with providers, some people have a good experience with the provider and other people have a horrible experience with the same provider. It's just the nature of dealing with mental illness. It's so unique to each person that's living with that experience, and that's why it's so hard to treat it. We went through a lot of different medications and counselors until we found the right combination that worked for our child. Having the information from the NAMI family-to-family class and from the other people kind of helped us zero in what ended up working for our child. And our child is very productive and doing really well in college. He's getting A's in his classes, and he's got some great, and we have great hopes for him for the future because he got the right treatment when he needed it and the support that we needed to be able to help him to get where he's at now. So just a wonderful experience from the family to family. Really strongly recommend it. Now for veterans, there is 12 weeks is kind of a long haul for anybody. NAMI has a program called Homefront, NAMI Homefront, and it's a 6-week program that has much of the same information that was in the 12-week family-to-family class, and it's for family members and significant others, caregivers, veterans, and military members that are living with the mental illness. It's to help them understand so they can help that veteran and that service member get through their experience and be able to understand all these medications and stuff. A lot of times people with going through mental illness can't advocate for themselves when they go in for treatment. I know from my own experience treating depression, I wasn't able to be my own advocate when I was going through first starting treatment because I was just not there. I was so down and just didn't want to do anything, didn't want to be with anybody or any place, just wanted to isolate and just kind of be numb. And my spouse was able to advocate for me to get into some counseling and help me find the right medication and right provider. We tried a lot of different medications and a lot of different providers until I found the right combination that really helped me treat my depression. I'm able to go back to able to work now. Still have days where it's a major victory for me to get up out of bed, but other times, just very, very high functioning and do extremely well at where I work and what I do. And I really, other thing that NAMI has is they have 2 different things. They have connections groups and they have support groups. Connection groups are for people living with a mental illness, and those are so valuable. There's a safe place. They're completely confidential. It's a safe place for peers to talk to peers about their treatment, how they're doing. Sometimes you just need to just vent and just get out all the stuff that's going on in your life. And that's the great thing about the Connections group. It's a safe place. It's not a therapy group, but it's a support group, and it's there for the person living with a mental illness, for them to have a safe place. And we offer those connection groups. Some of our affiliates have some that are just for veterans only. In fact, I'm a facilitator for one. It's a veterans only group. We also have some at Veterans Affairs clinics, hospitals. NAMI has a memorandum of agreement with the VA so that we can provide our connections groups and our Homefront groups classes and family-to-family classes on the VA campuses. So that happens across the country and a number of places where they do that. We do it near where I live in Leavenworth at the Eisenhower VA. We provide a veteran support group every Tuesday, and we have a number of veterans that come every week. Some are residents there. Some are there are there for a short period for their treatment, and then they're gone. And they can go to their somewhere in their local area to NAMI support group, and it's the model of the support groups are the same across the country. We follow the same model for those. Family support groups are another thing, and those are for the family members and significant others of the person living with the mental illness. And those, after the family-to-family class, my wife and I attended those. to share our experiences and visit with other people that were going through crisis, kind of a way of paying back, but also to enrich our lives and to unburden ourselves and just, have a safe place. Those are also completely confidential as well. We just share our experiences, what's in here now and what's going on and with us and how the treatment's going, how our family members doing, things that work for us, and kind of help other people problem solve what's going on. We're not there to be a therapy group for them either, but it is therapeutic in a way, being able to talk to other people that are going through the same thing and know that you're not alone, that other people have been there. Maybe, kind of hate to say it, but if you're going through something and somebody else is having something that seems a lot worse, it's kind of a relief to know that, what you're going through is not necessarily as bad as you think it is. It could be a lot worse. But
So being
anyway,
an officer in the military and being in so long, how have you
right.
seen the stigma around mental illness affect the troops
Oh,
and
geez.
veterans as well?
Yeah. When I first started doing my treatment, I did it on base on Fort Leavenworth, and I felt like I was doing a walk of shame walking into the clinic every time I went in for treatment. I kind of would sit in my car and wait and make sure there was nobody else around, and then, do a range walk, walk as fast as I could out of the door. So I really didn't want anybody else knowing, what was going on with me. Now after having gone through treatment, I realized I was kind of foolish. It takes a lot of strength to go and seek treatment, rather than doing what unfortunately, so many other people have done. Rather than, go through the stigma of having a mental illness, they take their own lives. And that's really another reason why I'm so heavily involved with NAMI. I really, really want to do what I can to help other people get treatment instead of taking their lives, because the number of veteran suicides is just astronomical, and it's a national tragedy. We have so many people do.
I agree. So how are some ways that you think we can reduce stigma?
Well, for one, I think what I've seen in the last few years, with the classes that the military's put on about suicide prevention, because it was getting it was such an epidemic there for a while, and still is. Just educating people that we would rather have you alive and in treatment than the alternative. There's no shame in seeking treatment. There's a lot, it takes a lot of courage to admit that you need help and to actually go get it. And if, and the best buddy you have in the Army is one that'll stand beside you and actually take you there if they talk you into going, talk you into getting treatment. Sometimes, just like joining an organization, sometimes people just need to be asked. And, sometimes people just need to be talked to and say, hey, this, what you're going through, you don't have to be alone in it. And there's no shame in going and getting some help. In fact, if you want, I'll go with you. And that's, take your buddy to get treatment is a great and noble thing to do.
Thank you. Do you have anything else pressing that you want to say to any veterans, military, or family members who are listening to this?
Sure. I recommend highly, if you have a family member or yourself are struggling with a mental illness, to go to the National Alliance of Mental Illness website, NAMI.org, www.nami.org. And there is just a wealth of resources in throughout the country, nationwide, there are NAMI affiliates and support groups, people already there that are ready to provide support, education, and advocate for you. NAMI does a lot of advocacy for mental health treatment. In fact, across the country, there's also, at the state level, there's a Veterans and Military Council for NAMI. They're out there. Ours in Kansas has some pretty good goals. We're trying to outreach to veterans organizations just to let them know that there is a NAMI presence in their community and the support groups are available. We're trying to set up support groups in all of our communities that are just veterans only, so that at times the veterans don't want to, people to, see who they are or whatever, but we're totally confidential. We don't provide members rosters to anyone. We don't talk about anybody else's experiences. We also have the home front education programs, the family-to-family education programs. Another program that we didn't talk about yet is peer-to-peer, and that is where the person living with the mental illness is in a class with other people living with a lived experience of mental illness, and it's facilitated by someone that's in recovery from a mental illness.
And all of these classes are at no cost to attendees.
Right, that's correct. And there are some great training materials. There's like a pretty good-sized 3-ring binder that's provided with tons of resources. There's a lot of material covered in the class, but then there's also, in the classes, they provide links to websites, to other resources where people can go for even more information on the topic. And when you're dealing with the mental illness, the medications can be expensive. I was fortunate to have the health insurance I have through the military, so my co-pays aren't too bad, but on the civilian side, co-pays for medications are horrendous. Medications are just so expensive. So having a free class where you get education and support and learn how to advocate for yourself and others, I mean, it's priceless what you get out of those classes, and they're free.
I think you pretty much covered everything. And then we're always looking for more trainers and people to sit on committees and the Military and Veterans Council to help continue NAMI's mission and to help advocate, educate, and support other people living with mental illness, other veterans, family members, and military living with mental illness, are those who care for those who are living with a mental illness. So the Kansas NAMI website is namikansas.org, and the national NAMI website is nami.org. I highly encourage you to check it out. Just like Robert said, NAMI has been pivotal into changing my life. I have been Team NAMI, especially this year. I've been so dedicated to NAMI because, like Robert mentioned, you can go in and you can talk to other people who are willing to share their experiences with mental illness, because I myself have been diagnosed with PTSD, depression, and anxiety. And knowing that other people understand you, it helps bring down some of my anxiety, I know for sure. And they just understand and they can talk to you about some coping skills, about how they made it through, and you realize how much hope there is out there. And again, it's no cost to attend any of the support groups or the classes. And even to be a trainer, there's no cost either. So I think that is amazing.
Right. Yeah, NAMI pays, for the hotel and meals for the people that go through the trainers to be the facilitators for all these different things, for the support groups, the connections groups, the family-to-family classes, the peer-to-peer classes, the home front classes, basics. I mean, there's so many different programs that NAMI offers, and they provide the training and the classes for free. It's just, we couldn't do it without the support of some great benefactors. There's a number of great sponsors provide the funds so that we can do it, and we couldn't do it without the grants that they provide. They're just wonderful. There's that many organizations out there that truly care about people living with a mental illness and want to make a difference.
Thank you so much, Robert, for doing this interview with me and explaining a little bit about your background and how NAMI has been pivotal in you and your family's life. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Airial.